Today we find out who has the best version of Tower right now. What is up, D3 fam? Welcome to this episode of D3V, other known as Gaming Does Disney Versus. In this episode, we talk about who has the best version of the drop ride, Hollywood Studios version of Tower of Terror, or Disney's California Adventure version of Guardians of the Galaxy, Mission Breakout. First, as usual, I would like to thank you all for your continued support of this channel. Remember, if you like what you see, click the subscribe button below and become a member of the D3 family. Alright, D3 fan, the battle is going to be nice and hot today. A really tough battle, a heavyweight fight I should say, between Tower of Terror and Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout. You know, this is the most famous drop ride here at the Disney Resort, at any Disney Resort. Very fun, very scary, and very entertaining at the same time. Both are versions, like I said before, they both are like free fall rides. And Disneyland had the same version of Tower, which is behind me, before it converted over to Mission Breakout about 2 years ago in 2017. But the one version behind me here at Hollywood Studios has been around for 25 years. It's the original Tower of Terror. Many say it's the best ride of all time. And arguably, I think it beat the older version of the Tower of Terror that Disneyland had before. But today we're going to compare and see if this version behind me stands up to the current version of Mission Breakout in California Adventure. With that being said, folks, let's get started with Tower of Terror right behind me. Alright, D3 fam, I want to make this nice and clear. This is how we're going to rate this series between Tower versus Guardians of the Galaxy. It's going to be 5 tiers right here. First is going to be the exterior of each attraction, that's one. Then we're going to rate on the actual external cues of the attraction. Then we're going to rate the actual free show for both attractions. Then number 4 will be the actual ride experience itself. And number 5 will be the exit, how you exit out of the attraction. That being said, folks, let's get going. Alright, D3 fam, we're about to walk into the Tower of Terror right now. As you can see, we're looking at the exterior of Tower right now. You have the Spanish Deco architecture right here. Very impressive, very beautiful outside aesthetically. We're about to walk into the queue area right now. Alright, D3 fam, we're walking to the exterior portion of Tower, the queue. Very beautiful outside, the landscaping out here is amazing. Nice and beautiful. Like I said, every queue here pretty much at all the Disney resorts here at Disney World, the queues knock it out the park. Awesome. But now we're going to go check out the interior portion of their queue. Okay, D3 fans, this is the interior of the Tower of Terror here at Hollywood Studios. Very beautiful interior here. I love all the detail they put in here. It looks amazing. Really spooky looking. Really cool.
One lock in this door with the key of imagination. Beyond it is another dimension. A dimension of sound. A dimension of sight. A dimension of mind. You're moving into a land of both shadow and substance, of things and ideas. You just crossed over into the Twilight Zone. Hollywood, 1939. Amid the glitz and the glitter of a bustling young movie town at the height of its golden age, the Hollywood Tower Hotel was a star in its own right, a beacon for the show business elite. Now, something is about to happen that will change all that. Like the one we have just witnessed. Tonight's story of the Twilight Zone is somewhat unique and calls for a different kind of introduction. This, as you may recognize, is a maintenance service elevator, still in operation, waiting for you.
Alright, D3 fam, I just got off of the ride. It was incredible, but now we're going to go right through the exit portion of the ride. Here we go. Alright, folks, you exit back into the lobby portion of the hotel, which is really cool. Then you enter into the gift shop, which is obvious for most of all these attractions now. Really cool gift shop, by the way. If you're into like Haunted Mansion stuff and ghoulish stuff like that, or you know, Jack and the Pumpkin King, things like that. Then you exit back into the courtyard. in Hollywoodland. Pretty awesome. Alright, D3 fam, that concludes part 1 of this special series in the D3V series, Damien Does Disney Versus series, with the Tower of Terror. But before we go to part 2 over at California Adventure, I'm going to explain to you what the actual ride sequence was. Because I couldn't really show you the video because I was afraid I was going to drop my phone. See, it fall like 13 stories. But other than that, I'll talk about the ride real quick. The ride picks up where the pre-show leaves off. You know, you sit into the service elevator, then you go up, then, you know, the announcer starts picking up again, then you see the family appear in this hallway, then they disappear, and the coolest part of this ride is like, the elevator leaves the elevator shaft and moves mysteriously down this hallway. You see all these relics and artifacts. Very impressive engineering for this attraction. That makes it stand alone. That's what made this ride revolution in the first place. Then you leave that hallway, enter the drop shaft, and that's where the drop sequence takes place. Then after that, I think you drop like 4 times, but they're small drops. Not too bad, but like I said, the story gets you. It gets me every time, so there's that kind of scary intensity, the suspense, I should say. But makes it a really great ride. But with that being said, we got to go part 2 in a second. We're going to go zoom right over to California in 3, 2, 1. And voila, we're here at D3 fam here at California Adventure for part 2 of our series, Guardians vs. Tower of Terror. As you saw in part 1, Tower of Terror, you know, classic attraction, but here at California Adventure, it used to be Tower of Terror, but now it's Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout. They changed it to Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout about a couple years ago in 2017, you know, with the Guardians of the Galaxy theme and everything like that. They changed the hotel into like the collector's museum, if you want to call it that. But it's pretty amazing in itself. With that being said, folks, we're going to continue with part 2 of this series. We're going to do the queues. We're going to review like the pre-show, the ride itself, and also the exit. With that being said, folks, let's go. All right, D3 fam, we're about to walk into the Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout. Right now, you can see the exterior is pretty impressive right there. Really cool. Like I said, it used to be the hotel for Tower of Terror, but it turned into the collector's museum here. But here we're gonna go into the queue right now, walk to the entrance in a few seconds. Let's go. All right, D3 fam, we're going to the main queue of Guardians of the Galaxy. Pretty impressive so far. You got the exterior right here. We're gonna go in the interior in a second. And here's the view of the collector himself. You can see a little bit of the interior of Guardians of the Galaxy right there. There's an exterior queue right here. We're going to go around the corner and look and see a little bit more of it in a second. Okay, D3 fam, here's the exterior queue of Guardians of the Galaxy. You see it's pretty basic. It's like a courtyard area here as compared to the Tower of Terror back in Orlando. You know, more extravagant. It feels like you actually walk into an actual hotel, which is pretty cool. They're both pretty unique itself. Let's continue to the interior queue of this attraction. All right, D3 fam, we are in the interior portion of Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout. Very cool interior queue right here. All kind of interactive activities going on, you know, interactive relics and artifacts here. Right there, creatures. Very cool. You have the Guardians right there on the screen interacting with you. Very cool interior right here. All right, D3 fam, the next thing we're going to experience is the actual pre-show queue for Guardians of the Galaxy. Let's go.
My friends, you're one step closer to your exciting encounter with the Guardians of the Galaxy. You are now standing in my private office.
I know.
Where I
Carefully scrutinize each and every piece that comes to me from different parts of the galaxy that after letting you, this guy. Hearing your incessant blathering on a constant loop was big motivation for me to escape. I go, ouch! Ouch! That was not part of the plan. What? Of course I escaped. For those of you who have not been paying attention, the name's Rocket, one of the Guardians of the Galaxy. The smart one. Listen up. He's gonna put you on a gantry lift for your tour. I'm gonna sneak on top of your lift and take us all the way to the big old generator control room. I'm gonna blast that thing and destroy all the control systems, which will open up every cage in this freak show and free my friends. Our buddy Mantis is in the getaway ship waiting for my signal, and then we'll be on a merry way. But this plan won't work unless you help. I don't have clearance. My hands don't scan. Yours do. If you raise your hands, I get the clearance and the chaos begins. It's a foolproof plan.
Alright, D3 fam, unfortunately this is where I'm going to have to leave you right now. I'm about to get on the ride itself. It's going to be really fun. Next time I talk to you guys, it's going to be when we come out through the exit of the attraction. See you then. Alright, D3 fam, I just got off of Guardians of the Galaxy. It was freaking awesome. We're about to go through the exit of the ride. Here we go. Alright folks, you just come through this hallway right here. You exit. You come out through the collector's warehouse where the photos are. You enter into the gift shop. Pretty cool stuff here, just like in Tower of Terror. All the Guardians of the Galaxy merchandise and things like that. Really cool. There you have it, the Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout. Okay, D3 fam, there you have it. We experienced both Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout and also the Tower of Terror back at Disney World. With that being said, folks, let's go. Let's start getting right to the chase. Let's talk about the overall experience of the ride, the rating of the ride, and all that good stuff. All right, let's start with the queues. As you know, the queue of Tower of Terror was amazing. You know, classic aesthetics. The exterior queue was classic, like you're in a hotel. You know, from the 1930s. Really cool. Then you come over here to Guardians of the Galaxy. You know, you have the collector's warehouse, things like that. Not too much to write home about, but you know, you feel like it was just a total makeover of the original Tower of Terror. That being said, the point where the exterior queue goes to for the Tower of Terror in Orlando at Disney World. That's one. Next, let's talk about the interior queues of both attractions. The interior the queue of the Tower of Terror is just about similar. You know, feel like you're still at the hotel and things like that. Really cool. But you come over here to Guardians of the Galaxy, that's where it's a game changer. You have all the interactive activities and things like that. You know, you have like the dogs moving, you have the creatures moving and stuff like that. Really awesome. Point goes to Guardians of the Galaxy. Tied at 1. Next, we're going to talk about the pre-show queues. You know, classic with the Tower of Terror, theme with the Twilight Zone, with the Twilight Zone. Really cool. It kind of creeps you out, you know, set you up before the move. And over here at Guardians of the Galaxy, you have like Rocket, you know, making fun of the whole pre-show thing, you know, tell you what you're trying to do. You're trying to help all the rest of the Guardians of the Galaxy escape and create all this mayhem. You pretty much you're part of the adventure. That's really cool. Plus, you know, Rocket, the animatronic, is out of this world. So point there goes to Guardians of the Galaxy. We're at 2-1. Next, we have the ride itself. Like I said, you know, Tower is classic. You know, it scares you, get the story and everything like that. But with Guardians of the Galaxy, it's a game changer. I mean, in Tower, you have a total of like 3 or 4 drops. Here in Guardians, you have a total of like 7 drops. Plus, it changes, the sequences changes each time. You have different soundtracks on this attraction too, which is really, really cool. So by itself, that by itself, hands down, Guardians is a better ride. So it's 3-1. Then we come with the exiting of the rides. I have to give that to Orlando. You know, it feels like you're back in the hotel and things like that. Right here, you just walk through a hallway, back through a gift shop here at Guardians of the Galaxy. With that being said, folks, the winner of this heavyweight match between Tower of Terror and Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout is, drum roll, no drum roll, hands down, Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, 3-2. Hey, you can fight me if you want, folks. Feel free to leave a comment below if you disagree with me. If you agree with me, leave a comment as well. With that being said, folks, this concludes this episode of D3V. Damien Does Disney Versus. Thanks again for watching. As usual, feel free to leave a comment below. And also, if you haven't already done so, feel free to subscribe to this channel. And also remember to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and also on Twitter. See you next time.